Hey everyone, and welcome back to this tutorial series. Today we want to learn about conditional statements and Boolean expressions. Conditional statements are used to check if a condition is either true or false and then do something depending on the outcome. To make it easier to understand, I've made a really simple picture to show you. As you can see, we have our integer variable x holding the value 5, and we can then check if x equals 5. If that is true, we can do something. If that is false, we can do something else. In our case, that would be true, so this thing here would get executed. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to clean up the project a bit. If you haven't done that yet, simply delete everything we did in the last video except for that console read key, because we will be needing that anyway. For a better understanding of how conditional statements work, I think we should have a closer look at Boolean values. As I said in the last video, a Boolean value can only have one of two states. It is either true or false. Now, if you, for example, wanted to compare numbers, the comparison would either evaluate a true or false as well. Let's say we wanted to compare 5 to 8, it would evaluate to false, because 5 obviously is not 8. To do that in C#, we just type it down. An important thing to remember here is that we need to use double equals. So 5 equals 8. That would be our Boolean expression. The reason we need this double equals is that a single equal is reserved for assignments. Like if we had a variable right here called int x, we would assign it the value with equal. Yeah, we cannot do that. We need to say double equals. That is our Boolean expression, and this would return false. So there is still an error because we're not really doing anything with this expression. We need to work with it. So let's say we have a Boolean variable called b, and simply assign it the value of this expression. To make it a bit more clearer, we can put this in parentheses. So now, since 5 is not 8, this would evaluate to false, and b would become false. If we said 5 double equals 5, b would then become true. Okay, so let's just do what the picture showed and have an integer variable called x with the value 5. Next thing we need is an if statement. To do that, we simply type if, then parentheses, and in there we put our comparison or our condition. So let's say if x equals 5, then whatever should be executed, if that is true, comes in curly brackets. So let's say we want to write a little text, x is 5. Okay. Now since x actually is 5, this would become true, so this would get executed. Hit F5 to check it out, and it works. Okay. But of course the condition can also be false. And of course, there's a way to execute code only if our condition is false. We do that by using else. So type else, curly brackets again, and another text, right line, x is not 5. Now, let's say x is 7. Then this would be false because it's not 5, and then this would get executed. As you can see, it worked. Okay, another important thing is that you can combine many if statements. For example, you first want to check if x is 5. If that is false, you want to do another check if x is 7. If that is false as well, you want to do something else. So to do that, simply type if, else, if, parentheses again for the next check, curly brackets, console right line, x is 7. Now, if we hit a 5, this will be false, so the next if statement will be evaluated. X is 7, so this gets executed. Keep in mind that if any condition is true, the code will be executed and the other conditions will not be evaluated anymore. So let's say X is 5 again. This would be true. Yeah, and even if this was the same condition, this would never get executed because this would never be evaluated at all, because the if process stops with the first true expression found. Okay. I think I should also add that there are a few other operators you can use for comparison. If you wanted to check if a number is smaller than another one, you could simply do it like that. So yeah, if you wanted to check if the number is greater, you could do it like that. If you wanted to check if the number is greater or equal 5, you could do it like that. Same goes for smaller, equal. There is also a way to check if a number is not a specific number by adding an exclamation mark in front of equal. So that would only be true if x was anything except 5. Yeah, there are a few more of those operators, and you can always hit Google for a full list of operators. I think I can't show you all right now. Yeah, but since, as I said, the conditions always need to evaluate into a Boolean value, we can not only compare numbers, but anything really. For example, if you wanted to check if a string variable matches a certain word, you could also check that. So let's first delete all this. Don't need that anymore. Let's say we have a string variable called text and give it the value hello. We could then check if text equals hello, and then print our text. Okay, so since this and this are literally the same, it will print out our text. Yeah, keep in mind that C# is case sensitive when it comes to string comparisons. So if our hello right here would be written with a capital H, and we would check it for hello with without capital H, this would be false because those are two different characters. Okay. So I think that's everything you need to know about conditional statements for now. In the process of this tutorial, we will be using those statements a lot, and you'll be seeing lots of other examples of conditionals anyway. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the video and could learn something. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.